Wyatt Arndt, presented by Greta today. Wyatt, let's hear from him. What do you call it? The Stanchion nightclub lounge?
I'm not alone. I got John Hamm over here. Like I'm not. I always hang out with John. Like we're good guys here. He's struggling. His Blues aren't doing that well, but that's why I'm here for him.
All right, Wyatt. What do you make?
I want to point out that like when Quads coughed earlier, he almost dabbed while doing it. I really appreciated that. Little.
I got no cough button. It's like just out of my reach.
He still hasn't figured out where the cough button is 2 weeks into the new show.
That's good. Dab away.
What?
Why do you cough so much?
I'm doing all the talking, all the ad reads. It gets me. I don't know.
This guy's hacking darts.
Yeah. Smokers cough. You guys know.
He's looking for a Hull sponsorship. We know. We get it. Like good for you.
I mean, Gen Z. It's Jules.
Yeah. Are you vaping, Quads?
No. No.
Good man.
No.
You don't need those chemicals.
Okay. Wyatt, what did you make of last night's game? We were just talking about how it just seems like a tired team. We didn't really want to talk about it much.
I mean, it's a tired team, and like I like Talk's response that they have to learn to win tired, which is fair point. But there are some games you're just not going to have it. Not to excuse the performance, but it's a tough schedule for them, and it's going to be a tough schedule, like terms of rest going forward as well for the next 8 days. It's just a lot of hockey in a lot of cities, and that's I think especially I sit on Twitter after that Bo Horvat emotional game. I feel like that's a real tough one to wake up and go play in Calgary and have your A game because you can't write a better script than what happened against the Islander game, and all of a sudden now you're asked to go play against the Flames. It's like, again, professionals are supposed to find ways to win. I get all that, but that was just a tough mountain to climb. And if this is the start of a 10-game losing streak, maybe we look back at this like going, oh man, what happened? But if you look at it and the Canucks continue doing what they're doing, then it could just be one of those games that got away from them. And in a bubble, maybe we give the Canucks credit for the season. Go, hey, they're going to bounce back. They have all season long, so we'll see what happens next game.
Wyatt, it's been 2 games for the Canucks without Carson Soucy. What's your confidence level in this Canucks blue line moving forward?
As long as Quinn Hughes is healthy, like I have decent confidence in this team defensively because he really is like the engine for this. And I do kind of want to go back to what you guys were talking about with Juleson. It's like and Quinn Hughes having confidence in his partners and playing with people. And we hear a lot of talk about Roenick. Roenick's kind of the big thing of like, oh man, like this guy's just like living off Quinn Hughes. He's feasting off of him. He's going to sign that new contract, which fair enough. On one side, that's very true. But there is what I call the Christian Ehrhoff principle, where if you find a guy that can, ride or die with your skilled guy and give you like a top-notch passenger, that's super valuable. And so for the Canucks, having a Roenick who can like read off of Hughes, and we've seen that switch play along the blue line from those guys so much, like that is such a valuable commodity. And I think that guy kind of gets hammered home when you watch like Juleson and the other guys kind of struggle back there to kind of work with Quinn Hughes and allow him to do the breakouts because as you said, people are going to key on Hughes. They already were keying on Hughes, but like they're going to key on him even more. And especially if the games get tighter and if they do make the playoffs, like Quinn Hughes is going to be a target. You kind of need someone that can help him get out of those situations. And that's why you always hear the talk like, oh, maybe Chris Tanev will come back because Chris Tanev's the kind of guy that will eat 3 hits just so he can get the pass over to Quinn Hughes. Like that kind of guy could be valuable for the team to have in their depth because right now, the depth of the defense, you kind of look at the Canucks and it's this whole season's kind of been one of those like what happens when one of the top players stops playing so well or what happens to get an injury kind of situations for the team because depth wise I don't think anyone's super confident with this roster.
We were talking earlier about Nils Höglander. He scored again in Calgary, up to 4 goals now. What's been different about him this season and the success he's been able to find compared to the version of Höglander you noticed over the last couple of seasons before where he was struggling?
I think it is kind of like Tocchet principle of winning board battles. I think I've noticed him winning board battles and using his body. Like he's not the biggest guy, but he's positioning his body well to separate the other defenders from the puck. And it's kind of like Sedin thing. Maybe they're helping. I don't know. But like you're seeing that from a couple of guys on the team where it's got very, very engaged. Brock Besser's another one who was always, I thought, a very smart player at getting the puck back. But he himself is also using body positioning and kind of controlling the battles a lot better than they have in the past. So for me, I just see like Höglander taking the puck to the net, kind of that Lafferty style going to the net and kind of giving Tocchet that north-south game that he wants. But yeah, the board battles stand out to me as something I think Höglander's really picked up his game with.
Wyatt, predictions for Saturday night. This is the 3rd of those 7 games that the Canucks are going to play within the span of 11 days.
I think they're going to come back. They're going to bounce back. The schedule overall, time-wise is tough, but their opponents, it is kind of a softer schedule. I know they got a couple of guys like the Knights and the Avalanche will be tough, but if this team continues, even if the PDO drops a bit, as we all wait for, I do think they have a chance to have a solid run of things. And, maybe I'm giving too much credit to Rick Tocchet, but it feels like he's going to have this team prepared. Like I think that game yesterday, he's going to use that as another lesson for this team of like, hey, is what happens when you don't find ways to play the system properly.
One thing I wanted to ask you more big picture wise, there's been a lot of speculation lately about Elias Pettersson, his contract situation. And there's this idea that we don't know if and when he does sign, if it's going to be more of a mid-range deal, 3 or 4 years, or what I think a lot of Canucks fans are hoping for is longer-term 8-year deal. How would you feel if Pettersson's extension, whenever he does sign it, if it ends up closer to the 3 to 4 year range rather than the 8?
I mean, that's kind of the vibe you get with Pettersson. Like, he's betting on himself. Like, a lot of people might just want to lock that up. He's like been playing, fantastic, leading the league in points, all that stuff. Maybe you kind of cash in now and secure that bag for long term. But I think Pettersson, not that everyone on the team doesn't want to win, but this guy, I think, like, he needs that Stanley Cup. Like, that is like, this is his goal. Everyone has that, I get it, but like, he is hyper focused. Like, he's going to be a winner. He's had a lot of losing in the city, and I think for him, giving that 3-4 years, like, Canucks playing well now, but he's probably reading the PDO articles too. He's like, you know what? Maybe it's going to drop a bit. I can't trust this so much. So for him, it gives him a bit more leeway, and maybe he does like do fantastic and keeps like getting better and better and leads the league in scoring. And maybe he's like, you know what? I'm going to get even more money when the cap goes up. Like, he could be just betting on himself. We'll see what happens. But for me, I think it's very much on brand for what Pettersson's doing, what we've heard. Like, I think he's making sure he's not locked into one of those contracts that, maybe he's stuck in Vancouver for a long time when the team, like, if it, starts spiraling.
Grady.
Wyatt, I see the Buffalo Bills hat.
Yeah.
Later today, David Quadrelli, for his Betway best bet, has the New York Jets money line upsetting those Bills on Sunday. First off, can I get your comment on that? And secondly, are the Bills frauds? And what the hell is going on with Josh Allen?
Well, they did. I mean, they got rid of Dorsey. Dorsey was a huge problem there. So that's a tough bet to make. So they just fired a dude. That's how you get the emotional pushback. So that is a ballsy bet from Quads. I don't know if I'd be dabbing after that one.
I'll quickly defend that one. So I was basing that bet entirely off of, I love me some Jets football. Zach Wilson, big Zach Wilson guy. But I also just see Wyatt Rage tweeting about the Bills all the time. So I'm like, they can't be that good. Like, I don't watch much football, but I'm like, they can't be that good if Wyatt's complaining about them all the time. So yeah, go Jets, baby. Yeah. This is not betting advice, just to be clear.
Their defense is like, there's a lot of injuries to the defense. Josh Allen is one of those guys that when they're dialed in, they're fantastic, but they can be a bit emotional when he gets away. That's when the game gets away from him. He starts and to be fair, like, the coaching has not been great for him either. So I think, I don't think Dorsey was the full problem, but I do think the team's going to see that as like, oh God, like, we got a guy fired. They all liked Ken Dorsey. Like, he was a good guy to them. I think they're going to realize like, oh, we were part of this, and they're going to have a bit of a bounce back. So we'll see what happens.
Cornerback, middle linebacker, free safety, left tackle.
Milano's the heart of that defense. Yeah, they've got the injury. Like, but the thing is, the defense hasn't even really been the issue. It's been the offense. That's why I think Dorsey took the brunt of it. And McDermott, the head coach, is a good defensive guy, but I don't think he understands offense. So I don't want to say I'm hopeful for the Bills, but I think they're going to win the game.
I should have been more clear. You said defense, so I was trying to name as many positions I could.
That's what I thought.
Did you Google that? You were dabbing and Googling?
No,
all right.
I didn't Google it. That was off the top of my head. I used to play Madden. You remember last year when you would submit the Stanchion, I'm like, hey, I'm kicking ass on Madden right now. I'm playing Ultimate Team. And I was good. I was good at Madden, and I don't know anything about the NFL.
On rookie mode, probably.
No, I'm on Ultimate Team online. I was doing well. I did really well.
You trying to guess the position? Like, that's a fun safety, and then there's a super safety, and they're really...
Well, I can see, because it shows you where they are, and I didn't know, like, I don't know the plays or whatever, but I learned which plays I like. And
what is TE? I thought it was TD.
All right,
that's me. That's basically me. I know even less than the Quads about football.
Harm's just trying to stay out of the way of this conversation. Sliding out of frame.
Next time you come on, we'll have some football trivia between Harmon and I.
I would love that. Football trivia. I book it, Grady. Book it.
I mean, we would do it today, but we didn't give you any time to prep. And
I'll prepare a basic football quiz for you guys. That'll be fun.
Okay, next Friday, people can look forward to that. But Wyatt, thank you so much for joining us today, man. Much appreciated.
Thanks, boys. Have a good rest of the show.
That is Wyatt Arndt. Always such a good time. Such a good time chatting with Wyatt. Okay, I don't even know where we go from there.
Show's off the rails.
Speedy's contract. Before that, though, sorry, folks, I'm all over the place today. This was the first show that I was late to. This used to be a running bit when I worked with Faber. Was I used to show up at like 5-10 minutes before the show. And it's just because, I was way busier back then and we had to figure out some things with my workflow to allow me to get to the studio on time. And today it was similar. I was working in the office though, here at the Wall Center. I was working and I couldn't get off the phone. Anyways, not going to get into it, but I'm a little bit off the rails today, as people can guess.